Good evening, everyone. I'm Amanpour, and welcome to a CNN special presentation, The Bravest Girl in the World. Tonight, a question. Where does courage come from? Real bravery, the sort that changes the world. In just a moment, before a live audience here in New York, some of them even here on the stage with me, I'll be talking to 16-year-old Malala Yousafzai, along with the remarkable man who raised her, her father, Ziauddin. And my mission is to find out what made one young girl in a remote corner of Pakistan decide, I will stand up to the Taliban. What gave Malala the grit to defy some of the most murderous men on earth?
I have rights. I have the right of education. I have the right to play. I have the right to sing. I have the right to talk. I have the right to go to market. I have the right to speak up.
Before the whole world knew her name, Malala was simply a schoolgirl. A small child with big dreams.
I want to become a doctor. It's my own dream, but my father told me that you have to become a politician. But I don't like politics.
The story of Malala is that of an ordinary girl with extraordinary gifts.
Sum of numbers में हमने 280 plus.
Fierce intelligence, grace, and poise far beyond her years.
So I thought that I must stand up for my rights, the right of education, the right for peace. So I did it.
No one was prouder of Malala than the head of her school, her own father, Ziauddin.
When I saw her for the first time and I looked into her eyes, I fell in love with her, believe me. I love her. I love her.
Their home is in Mingora, the largest town in Pakistan's lush Swat Valley. It's an area renowned for its beauty, ringed by mountains and fed by freshwater streams. It was an idyllic life. And then came the Taliban. The reign of terror began in 2008. Taliban soldiers took over the valley and imposed an extreme form of Sharia law. Anyone who dared to defy it was whipped. Many were murdered. Malala saw the bodies of family friends left as terrifying exhibits in the town square.
Good night.
Good night.
And she feared for her father, who had spoken out against the Taliban.
Sometimes I think that I will hide in the bathroom and I will call to police and they will come and they will save my father.
One night, the Taliban leader took over the local radio station and issued an ominous new order. The Yousafzais were forced to close their school and, along with thousands of others, fled for their lives. Finally, after months of fierce battles against the Taliban, the Pakistani military claimed victory in the Swat Valley. Malala and her family came home. She went back to school, but this time with a target on her back. One day, a Taliban boarded her makeshift school bus. The man shot Malala in the head. She fought for her life first in Pakistan, then in England, where she was flown for extensive surgery. Now the whole world knew who she was and what she had fought for. There were rallies and protests, prayers and speeches across Pakistan and throughout the world.
They shot her at point-blank range in the head and made her stronger.
Miraculously, the assassin's bullet didn't penetrate her brain. The doctors saved her life, and in a matter of weeks, Malala reassured the world that she would once again raise her voice.
Today you can see that I'm alive. God has given me this new life.
The man who shot her is still at large, and just this week, the Taliban once again threatened to kill her. But in a speech before the United Nations in July on her 16th birthday, Malala said she has no fear.
They thought that the bullet would silence us, but they failed. And out of that silence came thousands of voices. The terrorists thought that they would change my aims and stop my ambitions. But nothing changed in my life except this. Weakness, fear, and hopelessness died. Strength, power, and courage was born.
Malala Yousafzai and Ziauddin, welcome to the 92nd Street Y here in New York.
Thank you.
Let me take you back to that incredible day a year ago. Do you remember, Malala, what happened to you on that bus when somebody asked your friends, who is Malala?
He did not give me time to answer his question. And my friend told me, my best friend Muniba, that at that time you just squeezed my hand, you just pushed it with force, and you did not say anything. And then in the next few seconds, he fired 3 bullets. One bullet hit me in the left side of my forehead, just above here, and it went down through my neck and into my shoulder. And I think I was hit by only 1 bullet, and it also affected my eardrum, so now I have problem in listening as well. It also cut down my facial nerve. But still, if I look at it, it's a miracle. My brain is saved, my spinal cord is saved, everything is fine, I am alive, and I still can talk, I can smile, so I thank God for that.
Your father has been so close to you all your life. It must be still so difficult for you to listen to the retelling of this story.
Even to think of it, it's very difficult. Because in this universe, she's the most precious person for me in my life. And we are not only father and daughter, we are friends.
But what was it like when you woke up, finally, after all that trauma? What did you discover in that hospital room? Who was with you? What was it like to be awake again?
When I woke up, I realized that now I am not in Pakistan. The nurses and doctors, everyone was speaking in English. Then the first thing I did was that I thanked Allah, I thanked God, because I was surviving, I was living. And you know, I cannot explain it, how happy I was, how much happy. I cannot explain it, because I was very happy when I saw myself alive, and when I saw that I am living and I'm surviving. And then I was thinking about my father and my mother as well. And I could not speak at that time because there was a tube in my neck that was breathing for me. So I asked for a pen and a paper from the nurse, and I wrote to many doctors. I did it a lot of times, and I wrote to them, where is my father and my mother? And so they told me that your father is safe and he will come soon as possible. And the second question that was really important for me, and about which I was thinking, that who will pay for me? Because I don't have money. And I also knew that my father is running a school, but the buildings of the schools are on rent, the home is on rent, and he cannot sell his school. So that's simple. And then I thought, like, okay, so your father has a land in a village. He can sell it. But I said, it's just a very few amount of money. Then I was thinking he might be asking people for loan. So that's why I thought that I didn't know that the whole world was praying for me and are still praying for me. They are supporting me. And now I believe that when people pray to God for life, God gives. God is really honest. God listens to his people's voice. So,
what do you think it is about you that caused the whole world to pray for you and the whole world to light candles when you were wounded and the whole world to wish for you to be here today?
I think I must ask the whole world that why did they pray for me?
Interesting.
The first thing is that it shows humanity, it shows love, it shows friendship, and it shows harmony. Because not only the people of Pakistan, not only Muslims, not only Pashtuns, but everyone prayed for me. It did not matter what religion they had. If they were Christians, they were Jews, they did not even have religion. But they prayed for me, and they prayed for my new life.
Do you think, though, that it was not just because you're a lovely girl, but because you had a fundamental mission and that you spoke out about it in the most unusual way? What was it that you were thinking before all of this? What was your life about in terms of education, in terms of being prepared to defy the very violent opposition that you were facing?
At that time, when we were facing terrorism in Sovath, and especially in 2009, the radio mullah, which we call him, he announced on radio that from the 15th of January 2009, no girl is allowed to go to school.
No girls to school.
No girl is allowed to go to school. And if she goes, then you know what we can do. So that was his threat. What they did, they used to flog girls, they used to flog women. They also slaughtered people in the squares of Mingora. They treated people like animals. At that time, I did not want to be silent because I had to live in that situation forever. And it was a better idea because otherwise they were going to kill us. So it was a better idea to speak and then be killed.
Let me ask you a difficult question.
Oh.
This was your teenage daughter. She was a really young girl.
Yeah.
And she's just described this enormous public profile that she had, that she spoke. It's so unusual for girls or anybody to defy the Taliban, most particularly girls, in that manner. And you encouraged her.
Yes, of course.
Do you feel any remorse, any regret, any wish that you hadn't made her so public and such a big target?
No, never. Remember, I am a Pashtun Pakistani. I can never compromise on freedom. My approach is, I think that better to live for one day to speak for your right and then to live for 100 years in such a slavery. I will never put my neck into the yoke of slavery.
Later in the program, the bravest girl in the world is still just a teenager to her mom.
Whenever I used to go to the market with her, she used to tell me, cover your face, see that man is looking at you, that man is looking at you. I said, Mom, I'm also looking at them. It doesn't matter.
You wanted to be a doctor, but your dad wanted you to be a politician. You wrote very nicely about that in your book, and you said, no, I don't want to be a politician. This was before. Now, you write that one of your heroes, one of the people you admire the most, was Benazir Bhutto, Pakistan's first female prime minister, and also someone who was brutally murdered by the Taliban. Tell me about Benazir Bhutto and what she means to you, and do you want to be Prime Minister of Pakistan?
When I was in Sovath, and it's the culture that a woman can only be a doctor or a teacher if she gets education. Otherwise, she has to be a housewife and feed the children and live a life according to what man says in just the four boundaries of a house. I was thinking to become a doctor because everyone in our classroom says they want to become a doctor. But when I was looking at the situation of Sovath, when I saw that the government is not taking an action, and when I saw that the responsible people are not saying anything, and then later on, I realized that becoming a doctor, I can only help a small community, but by becoming a politician, I can help my whole country. I want to become a Prime Minister of Pakistan, and I think it's really good. Because through politics, I can serve my whole country. I can be the doctor of the whole country, and I can help children to get education, to go to school. I can improve the quality of education, and I can spend much of the money from the budget on education.
You still have huge dreams. They didn't take that away from you.
They only can shoot a body, but they cannot shoot my dreams. And I think my dreams are living. The important thing is that they shot me because they wanted to tell me that we want to kill you and stop your campaign, but they did a mistake, a biggest mistake. Now I'm not afraid of death. First I might have been, but now I'm totally not afraid of death. And when I look at the support of people, then I'm sure that this cause is never going to die. And we will see that a day will come, every child, whether girl or boy, whether black or white, whether Christian or Muslim, he or she will be going to school, inshallah.
And still to come, what happens to a young Pakistani girl when Buckingham Palace comes calling? The Queen of England has invited you to the palace. You're going, right? Malala, your mother kept purdah. She was very modest. She wore the full burqa all the time. She was conservative, but she was a big powerhouse and remains in your family. Did she also support what you were doing?
She supported both me and my father in our campaign for education because she wanted to see peace in Sovath. And she said that what you are doing is right. And the other thing is that she supported us in everything, but she was just telling me that, cover your face, men are looking at you. Whenever I used to go to the market with her, she used to tell me, cover your face, see that man is looking at you, that man is looking at you. I said, Mom, I'm also looking at them. It doesn't matter.
You're 16? Really wise? What do you do that's girly? What do you like? In movies, music, books?
The first and the important thing in my life is that I raise my voice against my brothers. And because they're still brothers and I am like the only daughter, so it's very necessary to fight against them and to raise our voice against them. And other than that, when I was in Pakistan, I liked Western music like Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez. But when I came here, when I came to UK, then I was missing my own Pashto music and Urdu music. That's why now I listen to Pashto songs a lot.
You know, the Queen of England has invited you to the palace. You're going, right?
Yes, I am going because it's the order of the Queen. It's the command.
In a moment, a final word.
I would like to tell every girl in UK, in America, in the countries, in the developed countries where education is available to them, that go to schools and realize its importance before it is snatched from you, as we have been suffered from that situation. So going to school, doing homework on time, being good to teachers and being good to each other, it's a very important part of life. So go to school.
I need to introduce you to my son. Thank you,
so
Ziauddin, and thank you, Malala.
Who are here in this hall. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.